So the trade deadline is officially a week away, and the Yankees are going to need to make some moves if they want to win the World Series. They have targets, they have stuff that they must do, so let's talk about those needs, what the Yankees need to do this trade deadline in order to have the best shot of winning a World Series. So let's get right into this. So the first thing the Yankees need to do, they need to get rid of Joey Gallo and improve in the outfield. Gallo has just been horrible. You watch him play, he's horrible. You look at the stats, they're horrible. He needs to be gone. He cannot be getting at bats when the postseason comes around. The Yankees are barely giving him at bats right now. He cannot be on the team in the postseason. Plain and simple. So I think there are three main players the Yankees should be targeting here: Andrew Benintendi, Ian Happ, and Juan Soto. Now, Andrew Benintendi, I think, is the most realistic option if he decides to get vaccinated. He's currently unvaccinated, which means he cannot play games in Canada. And you cannot take the risk of having him on the team, getting to the postseason, versing the Blue Jays, and then having him not being able to play. You can't take that risk. If he's willing to get vaccinated, I would have him as the main guy, though. He's not going to cost the whole farm like Soto. He's going to cost even less than Ian Happ. And he's a great player. Left-handed bat. Has won a Gold Glove. Is not as good of a defender as he used to be, but still a solid defender. He's hitting .322 on the season. He's amazing. He doesn't strike out. He walks a good amount. Hits a lot of doubles. This is the type of player that you want. He's the type of player the Yankees need. He's the exact opposite of Joey Gallo. He doesn't strike out when he hits for a good average. Works really well. So I think he's the number one guy if he's willing to get vaccinated. Otherwise, I think Ian Happ. Now, Ian Happ will cost more because unlike Andrew Benintendi, who's a free agent after this season, Happ has another year of team control. He's also a switch hitter, and he's having a slightly better season. He's hitting .282, but he's hitting for a lot more power, drawing a lot more walks. So he'll cost a lot more prospects. And I think that the Yankees don't want to be overly aggressive this trade deadline because they still are the best team in all of baseball. They have errors which they need to fix, but I don't think they want to sell the entire farm, which kind of goes along to the third point. If they do want to sell the entire farm, which I don't see them doing, Juan Soto's the guy to get. He plays left field. He is an outfielder. You need an outfielder. You want one of the best players in all of MLB. Go get Soto. I don't think this is going to happen, even though it's fun to talk about. It's fun to dream with Soto in that outfield. It is unrealistic. That would be amazing if they got him. I don't think so. I think it's mainly Andrew Benintendi or Ian Happ. I say get Benintendi if he's willing to get vaccinated. Otherwise, go and get Ian Happ. Next, pitching. So you can never have enough pitching. I know a lot of people want the Yankees to go and get a starter. I slightly disagree with this. I think if you're getting a starter, you need to get a legitimate number 2. Luis Castillo or Frankie Montas if Montas is fully healthy. And the reason I'm saying this is because you have really only 4 starters in the postseason. Because it's like you play 2 days, you're off another day. It's not as continuous as the regular season. You can play 11, 14 games in a row, and you really need 5, maybe even 6 starters sometimes. You don't quite need that, and the Yankees' rotation is really good. You know, you got Cole, you got Severino, who is injured right now. You have Monty, Tyone, Cortez. Then you have Domingo Germán, has kind of a backup option there. You know, if the glass is broken, in case of emergency, then you put him out there. But I just don't think the Yankees should go the starting pitching route. Unless you get a legitimate number 2. But that will cost a ton of prospects. I think the Yankees don't want to do that. As I said, they're going to want to be pretty conservative here. Pretty passive. Just addressing the absolute needs. So I don't see them going and getting a starter. But what I think that they should do is get a lot of bullpen help. Having a great bullpen, it works in the postseason. You know, your starters, you don't want to have them face the opposing batters the third time in a row. The stats get much worse. So you go to your bullpen, and having a strong bullpen really, really helps. Now, obviously, the Yankees have had some massive injuries to the bullpen, but it also has been the best bullpen in MLB. Michael King going down on the IL, that's really, really brutal. You have to remember that Chad Green used to play here, but he's injured. We are going to get some arms back, though. Miguel Castro should return soon. Zach Britton will return right around September call-ups. So the Yankees are getting some help, but that's not enough. They need to make some trades. So I think the Yankees should go out and get someone to replace the level of productivity that Michael King was getting you. There's one guy in my mind the Yankees should get. David Bednar. You want to replace King. You want to replace a 2.29 ERA. Get David Bednar. He's really the only guy I can imagine that can do this. A 2.96 ERA. So slightly worse, but can't really replace King's ERA because King is just so good, but you can get pretty close. So as I was saying, 2.96 ERA, 2.58 FIP, 2.94 xFIP, 3.14 xERA. I mean, the stats are great. He strikes out a ton of guys. He has years of team control, which is really good. I think he's the guy you get. He's done this for 2 years now, having an ERA or in the twos. The underlying metrics are great. His pitches are pretty good. He has years of team control. It will cost a good amount of prospects. I say you do it, though. You need to replace the production you were getting from Michael King. You need to do that somehow. Next, I think the Yankees should go and get Kyle Finnegan. I've been wanting the Yankees to get Finnegan for a good amount of time now, for a couple of reasons. He's a pretty good pitcher. I think he can be even better, and he has minor league options. So far in the season, he has a 3.66 ERA, 3.48 xERA. Not bad. Underlying metrics are slightly better there. He also has pretty good pitches. He's a sinker-slider pitcher, which works really well in contrast to David Bednar. Something you want in the postseason is for your pitchers to be different. You don't want every single one of your pitchers to be just pumping fastballs high in the zone, because then the batters adjust and crush that. Getting someone like Bednar and then Finnegan, who's a sinker-slider guy, it works pretty well. He's 6'2". I could kind of picture him as a mini Clay Holmes. He throws his sinker pretty hard. Not too hard, though. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as Clay Holmes, but I could see him getting traded to the Yankees from the Nationals and putting up like a 3.3 ERA and being really solid. He has minor league options. He's a free agent in 2026, but he won't cost a ton of prospects. If everyone is healthy in the rotation, in the bullpen, Britton, Castro, they come back, Bednar's good, then you can send him down to the minors. If not, keep him up with the squad, and he'll do a really good job. I think that's what the Yankees should do this deadline. It's relatively passive, unless we're talking about the Yankees going out and getting Soto. That would be crazy, but as I said, I don't think that will happen, even though that would be amazing. But it's relatively passive if you get Andrew Benintendi, David Bednar, and Kyle Finnegan. You're addressing what you need. You need an outfielder. You need to replace the value we are getting from Michael King, and you need another reliever. I think this offseason gives the Yankees a great shot at winning the World Series without depleting the farm system. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Will this offseason be enough to win the World Series? And tell me if there's any other moves that the Yankees should make.